Hey folks, it's Jamie here from ProServeIT, and for this month's edition of Tales from the CTO, we're going to kind of piggyback on the previous conversations that we've had around change management. And I figured I'd throw this up and talk a little bit about a well-known, trend, if you will, or a well-known caveat around change management, and this is the Kubler-Ross curve. So you may have seen this, and there's many different variations of this that describe how you manage change at scale. And I think it's important to understand that there's different points in this journey when your organizations are going through change, and there's different things that you can do, tactics that you can leverage in order to help move your organization through these different points of change and conflict, if you will. So let's dive into it. So the first part is, when we kind of get up to the top, we're about to introduce some new change, and really this is the fun part. This is the best part. This is the ideation stage. This is really when we're involving a lot of people, getting alignment around what we're going to achieve. And it's kind of fun, and it tends to be a galvanizing or an opportunity for the teams to come together and say, okay, awesome, here's what we're going to go work towards. And that's almost like the high point until we kind of get out of this. Because right after that is when the work really starts to happen. And the team starts to realize that, again, depending on how significant of change this we're talking about, it's going to be hard. There are going to be challenges, and it's going to require a lot of work. And when we're at that point, when the team begins to realize how difficult or how significant the change this is going to be, that's really when we're going to make sure that we have to get out communication to the team. We have to make sure that we're talking to them around, what we're doing, reinforcing the alignment statements or the why that we're trying to achieve, and spend time training, right? Education and training needs to be it's a vital component of any kind of formal change management strategy. And if we kind of forego bringing the people into the process, helping them understand what's going on, training them on what's to come, there's going to be a lot of resistance, more resistance than it's going to be helpful kind of down the road. So it's really, really key to, make sure that we're kind of getting ahead of that. And then, kind of moving from this, surprise is kind of fun into the, it's difficult stage. We're moving through to the reliance on the old. And it's kind of when we get to the bottom of the valley, so to speak, when people are like, you know what, this is just too hard. I want to go back to the way I was doing it before. It's not that bad. And you're going to see a lot of people just begin to kind of drift back to their old ways because they're familiar. Even if they're not as efficient, even if they're not as effective, they're familiar. And in general, people don't like change. And so they go back to that old. And here's where we need to get into, a little bit of a spark, create a spark. And there are different ways to do that. And some of this will depend on the culture of your business, whether you have, prizes or create prizes and kind of that type of thing, whether there's going to be some kind of, different motivation that we need to, create, whether there's, social peer pressure or, kind of a more future positive lens of that. If there's something we can do that's, a team-centric goal, right? Can we gamify any element of this to try and help bring the team together and kind of get them to that lowest hump on, on the pole there? So I think we'll pause there for a minute because, even though there wasn't a ton, there's a lot to unpack here, and there's a lot to think about and say, okay, I'm about to embark on this change within my business. What does this mean to me? And can I apply any of these, let's say tactics or thoughts into making sure that I'll have a more successful project that I'm trying to implement inside of our organization? If you'd love to have a conversation, I'd love to chat and kind of pick this up and see how this can work for you. And next month, we're going to kind of continue to build this out and talk through how to continue to kind of push through that, largest points of pain and through to, kind of getting out of the other side where the world is better than it was. So until then, thanks so much and talk soon.